what the DPP said 2 days ago. We will be releasing MOHBAD's autopsy and toxicology test in 4 weeks. Also to the 4 weeks. Oh, releasing Kokon. There was no investigation into MOHBAD's death. No investigation. Email Ayilara tó wà lọ́wọ́ mi. Ọjọ́ tí n bá post ní Nigerian police ma fall. Mo ti sọ fún Muyiwa. Mo ti sọ fún ẹ o. Anytime tó bá ti contact Muyiwa lórí WhatsApp mi. Lórí business WhatsApp Muyiwa. Kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀? Gbogbo drugs tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Delta State. Ẹ jẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀. A máa ṣe show pẹ̀lú NDLEA on this one. At the end of the day, bí Muyiwa ṣe máa ń kí mi, mommy, the golden woman of our time. Because Muyiwa máa ń pè mí ní the golden woman. Muyiwa máa sọ golden woman yẹn mọ́. Because Muyiwa di the fiery woman of your time. Tó o bá sọ fún ẹgbẹ́ tó kù nípa case Mohbad pé is going to places he shouldn't be going. That's
Dr. Kemi, sorry, this is the IT guy. Just a very quick one.
Yes, IT guy.
Yeah, so I'm kind of wondering, because at some point, MOHBAD got involved with the NDLEA.
Yeah.
Is there any form of association to that situation?
What's it playing? IT guy, you can explain part. Let me explain this in English to you. IT guy, in February of 2022, I joined the NDLEA as a volunteer because I didn't like what was going on in the island with regards to raids and information and misinformation. The NDLEA said they were really glad to have me. So they invited me to come on their spaces every Friday for 30 months since February 2022. I'm a member of the panel, and about 4 or 5 times I have actually been a speaker on different topics. Now, every night, I'm no longer on the NDLEA spaces, but I went there 2 Fridays ago, and I'm going to be a speaker in an upcoming one. What happened was, everybody listen carefully, because if you see about it, Daluruni. February 2022, a week after I started with the NDLEA, Yabojo and Tonto used an information. No, don't let me bring them in first. No, February 2022, a week after I started with the NDLEA, there was a raid at the Malian house. The NDLEA raided the Malian house. They got credible information that something was going on, a drug party was going on. So they busted in there and they found a room full of people who were seated on either side of the walls of the room. In other words, one side of the wall, people, the other side, people, and everybody was high and they were smoking something. They arrested everybody, collected a stash of drugs, and they detailed the amount of drugs they collected, like certain kilograms of loud, certain kilogram of crack, all that. Then they went outside and seized a white Lexus, brand new, no number plates, and inside the Lexus, more drugs. So during that raid, Naira Marley was not in the country. He was in Sweden, and he went to do a show. When he finished in Sweden, I messaged Naira Marley on WhatsApp, and I said, Naira, ma bonli. Then I left a voice note. Naira ma bonli NDLEA raid ile laliano. Oh, I arrest so many people. Titima Bonli. Naira did not reply me. Instead, I saw the blue marks that says he has read my message, or at least somebody has read my message on his phone. Naira was on the plane, and when he landed, he tweeted that the NDLEA mistreated all my artists and blah, blah, blah. During the raid, there was a video that was filmed by an NDLEA operative. That video was sent to me exclusively. A minimal post video of Wumi to NDLEA officer. Sheyi was behind Wumi. Sheyi is MOHBAD's manager. Okay, at that time, Sheyi was just another member of the Malian house with all of them. Sheyi was shouting and screaming. She's the one that looks like a guy. And I think she's a lesbian, and she has blonde hair. Sheyi was shouting, Wumi, no, Wumi, no. Everybody remembers the video. It's online. So Wumi was trying to attack an NDLEA officer. She was batshit high. That's what we call it in America. B-A-T, shit, crazy. But she was batshit crazy and batshit high. The drugs was on her. So she had no idea she was about to hit an officer carrying a submachine gun. You know what I mean? Imagine that was a DEA officer. I want to shoot her and I want to pardon. Ufe saw DEA officer. The NDLA officer did not even bother to hit her or anything. But Yegbe Bondani, to tell you that she could have lost her life that day. At that point, there's a video for that. It's in the video. Get inside, get inside. The NDLA got very aggressive. Time MOHBAD escape. So they were not arrested. So, but on escape, the very next day, very early in the morning, around maybe 6 a.m., even 5:30, I got a call from Manny Essien. Manny Essien is the host of the morning show on Cool FM. Manny has been there for 27 to 30 years. Manny Wani, Dr. Kemi, I need you on the show this morning. When is the show? I need you on the 8 o'clock hour. And in 3 hours, I have enough time to get ready. But to the 8 o'clock, Timani introduced me to Cool FM. Video Timonzoi, earlier, YouTube me, the video of the Cool FM interview. So I went live on Cool FM and I spoke about the Malian raid yesterday. And I said everything that I knew and what happened and all that. After my interview, that was it. Now, you are going to hear some things now. Hey, my unsung heroes in Nigeria. Hello, page earpiece. Hello, first comments. Lori birthday, Mr. Onyema. Larry. Hello, first comments. Hello, video to mo post. Unsung heroes wanta koken sọ̀rọ̀ ni. Nǹkan tí Onyema ṣe fún mi mi ò rí sójú dé ni. Nǹkan tó ṣe fún mi nígbà tí mo kúrò ní Port Harcourt prison. Ó ní mo fi wish happy birthday. It's going viral over there. But let's come back to MOHBAD. What did I do? Okay. Marwa, Chief Marwa, IT guy, Chief Marwa, NDLA chairman, NDLA chief. Chairman Marwa, former governor of Lagos State, General Army, he was having back surgery in America. So while he was in the hospital in America, NDLA, he raid Malian house, until he arrest him. Femi Babafemi, spokesman, NDLA, had to contact Marwa. Emi wa collect as Femi email. Mo ní Femi mo fọlọ́run bẹ̀. Nǹkan burúkú ló ṣẹlẹ̀ yo. Naira Marley ẹ̀kan péré ni mo ti meet láyé mi ní funeral Baba Siwa Savage in September 2021, 6 months ago. We're now in February of 2022. Ẹ ṣàánú àwọn ọmọ yìí. I am a music journalist aside from every other news beat that I've worked in. And I know that these children, their career will end now because they back convict one, they prosecute someone, they would not be able to travel abroad. They can't work British citizen, no, Naira Marley than a British citizen. The others will not be able to go out. I have seen it in America and I've seen it in Canada. Canada does not allow people with gun charges in. Many rappers were denied entry into Canada when I was there. I was a music journalist and a music publicist in Canada. So I've seen it, and I knew that Omar Balibel Yeje, because Naira Marley won't be able to get his artists to perform in London, US, or anywhere outside Nigeria. One Africa, they're popular. Dubai, New York. They run One Africa. At the end of the day, when he gets opportunities, he had Zinoliski, he had MOHBAD, he had a lot of artists. So mo aba on bebe mo collect as Femi Joba mi be chairman. You know Mr. Babafemi called the chairman in his hospital bed in New York. When he asked Kemi what alternative that she wants for them. Let them do rehab. I will supervise it personally and I will do the PSAs for them. Nǹkan tí mo ṣe nìyẹn o tí gbogbo Nigeria ò mọ̀ o. Táwọn èèyàn máa bú mi tó máa disrespect me. Gbogbo jẹ́ tí mo ti ṣe fáwọn Malians. Kò tiẹ̀ tó pé káwọn èèyàn
Ejo, take it easy. Emma was overtly emotional. Ejo, I understand. Ejo, Shetibo. So, guys, just wait a little bit. She's gonna be back.
She's going to self-regulate. Just
It's okay. She's gonna be back. Just wait. Yeah, before she comes back, this was one of Naira's posts at the time MOHBAD was arrested, where Naira Marley posted that NDLA has released MOHBAD after physically assaulting him. And there comes the question of bitter essay like, then did Mohbad lie about the watery substance that he said was given to him? And who are these people who gave Mohbad that watery substance? Somebody have to be responsible, because that watery substance really caused damages to Mohbad. So who were those people? Is Naira correct about this post that NDLE physically assaulted Mohbad and then released him? So, I mean, where do we stand? And for NDLE to be saying today that they never arrested Mohbad. So that's a contradiction with Naira post. Naira said they assaulted him, then released him. NDLE claimed they never arrested Mohbad. So which one do we stand on?
Papariano. But that night, they took.
Sorry, Dr. Kemi, are you back? So that, please, let me just be sure that she's fine. Hello, Dr. Kemi, are you back? Dr. Kemi. We can't hear you any longer. You're muted. I don't know that she's still speaking. We cannot hear you. Hello, Dr. Kemi.
Okay, got to first one thing. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Emma about emotions, you know. And
no, emotions. See, but only continue láti mú. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n sọ̀rọ̀. Emma bad train of thought me. Ẹ jẹ́ kí n continue.
All right.
Okay, my time is precious. I charge people now to even have me on their live, and I'm not charging all of you. I know you're helping. So at the end of the day, okay, when I went on Cool FM, I did the interview. I spoke to Femi Babafemi, who wrote Mariwa, who called Mariwa in New York. Mariwa said, what does Kemi want to do for them? I said, I want to put them in rehab and supervise their rehab, and I will do their PSAs. For people that don't know PSA, public service announcement. So I wrote the public service announcements, and then they went to rehab. During the rehabilitation centers, Mutin she rehab for 35 years. I'm a drug abuse expert in America. President Clinton, Governor Glenn Denning, Congressman Mfume, Congressman Rupersberger, Senator Mikulski, 3 congressmen, 3 senators, and the United States Department of Justice honored me. America Lufumini first green card me. This is my job, and I did it volunteer. I was just a pharmacist. Only in the White House. Only NIW visa, national interest waiver. John Torio long, cellulaire. There are many things about Kemi Olunloyo people don't know. So with that being said, mo rehab. I mean, mo promote NDLEA rehab during my 30-month campaign with them. So about Fiwonsi Rehabilitation Center kan leko. Tó bá kọ́kọ́ wọ rehab, the first thing tó máa ṣe fún ẹni wọ́n máa gbẹ̀jẹ̀, wọ́n máa gba urine, wọ́n dẹ̀ máa find àwọn drugs tó wà nínú tiẹ̀. Nǹkan tó wà nínú urine àtẹ̀jẹ̀ Mohbad yàtọ̀ sí nǹkan tó wà nínú urine àtẹ̀jẹ̀ Zino or ẹ̀jẹ̀ the other 5 people tó arrest lórí list. Ṣé bá ní pé kán lọ mú list yẹn wá? Mariwa request list àwọn tó arrest alẹ́ ọjọ́ yẹn lẹ́kọ̀ọ́. When the list arrive, ṣé wọ́n send ẹ̀ sí mi? Mariwa send me ni copy mo dẹ̀ wò. Ileri Oluwa Oladimeji Aloba was not there. Wunmi Adebanjo was not there. So wọ́n ti were vindicated. Ìgbà tó ń drag NDLEA wọlé, NDLEA ti ṣe tí wọ́n dẹ̀ send letters to Nigerian police. We have done our job. Good luck with the investigation. Ibi tí Tonto àti Iyabo ti dá case rú nìyẹn. Now, let's go back to that rehab. So different drugs in different people. This is the reason why I question the fact that Sanwo-Olu said they should send a toxicology test to America when it is done every day in Nigeria, in hospitals, in rehab centers, everywhere. Oni mo ṣe àwọn videos tí mo ṣe ní Yorùbá fún àwọn ará Ìkòròdú on what happened to Mohbad ní Dr. Kemi, ní Kemi Talks Media lórí TikTok, yellow logo, ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ people follow ẹ kẹ́ lọ wo weekend la wà, ẹ lè wo throughout Sunday chapter 1 to 10 because àwọn ará Ìkòròdú understand àwọn kìíní. Ìkòròdú people don't understand the dynamics of what's happening, so you have to put it in Yoruba for them in layman's terms.
And to try to get something from that NDLEA arrest, are you saying the NDLEA never arrested Mohbad?
No, they never arrested him and Wunmi. They're the two that escaped.
Who gave him the watery substance then?
No, listen, because one cut me off. Papariano, my sorrow, cut me off.
I'm just trying to get that clarity.
Let me continue talking. So now, You can't do a toxicology test for someone dead, but yet it's done every day in all the rehab centers and everything. Okay. Aside from that, everybody's stuff in their urine is different. That's why you know what kind of rehab you're going to give them. As a pharmacist, I headed the rehab center of Johns Hopkins Bayview. Okay. I was the pharmacist of the outpatient at the Bayview Rehab Center. Johns Hopkins is the top hospital in the country. And I say in the country, in the world. I won't come at Tamafuni ibuprofen. I won't come at Tamafuni liquid flexeril for muscle relaxant because their muscles are constricted. The ibuprofen is for the pain, 800 milligrams 3 times a day. And then we're going to give them promethazine. Promethazine is for antiemetic. They are going to vomit everything that's in the system very violently. So if one promethazine, I was sent one losile, want to detox here. They will come for 4 straight days. So it depend lori formula nkotama fuen. Nkota fisinu bottle water for MOHBAD is not the same as nkotama fisinu bottle water for Zino. So MOHBAD, Emma Woro 2022 February, MOHBAD got a different concoction. When they were all detox, they were now released from detox. When Zinoliski was going home, we gave Zino a PSA that he will read. Who does your video? Does anybody remember Zino's PSA? Papariano here ko niv awon kobe yen lowo. Zino did a PSA in the car. Hello everybody, I'm going to rehab. Say no to drugs. Emi ni mo ko kini yen now. Emi ni mo ko PSA fun. Nkan to sọ lórí video yen emi ni mo ko. Mo de fun DLA. What the phone rehab?
Please, let me play this for you so that you will understand the direction of my question. It's very short, please. This is MOHBAD.
Kilo say video bottle water. No, that's not it. No, my patron has not. Stop it. Mighty player. Oh, my patron has not. Yeah.
What?
Mighty player. Oh, my I
want you to touch them. All right,
mo ti rí video yẹn gbogbo èèyàn ti rí o ma battery.
I know. I'm trying to
you are going ahead of me. Mo ti fẹ́ wọnú clinic o, mo ti fẹ́ hospital o, mo ti fẹ́ wọnú
particular line of thought.
Oh, mo pé intelligent people mi ò sọ pé
kò sí problem tẹ́ bá ti ṣe tán ẹ lè tẹ́ bá ti ṣe tán a máa continue my conversation pẹ̀lẹ́.
Mo ti fẹ́ wọ clinic o. Let me explain this very fast to everybody. The detox medicines that person A takes is different from person B. After they were all detox, they went home. Zeno put out a video in the car saying that say no to drugs. The line he read was written by me and they went home. Okay, that was February 22nd, 2022. Fast forward, October 5th, 2022. MOHBAD was beaten up. He went to the Malian house to collect his things and to tell them he didn't want them to manage him anymore. But forgetting that he had a contract. He had brought his father and mother there to beg Naira Marley. It doesn't work that way. You bring your lawyer there. The music industry was not explained to MOHBAD before he went into it. And it's a lesson for the new artist. So when it didn't work, he went there forcibly to tell them, I don't want you anymore. I'm here to pick up my stuff. They beat him up. He was rushed to the hospital. His blood pressure was high. And that's where you have to go and pick up my tweets, what I said. Motuwakwe MK, Sibe Kumabo, Dr. MK, one of my favorite doctor friends on Twitter. When you MK wa blood pressure machine at saturation on my 80% saturation. One low more you. More tweets. Naira ile aye o le to yi. To ba even got Naira Marley in tweets. More regretting nkan lori on tweets yen. Naira was tweeting some very abrasive stuff. And I was replying him. Well, guess what happened? I regret something. I said, Naira, let's end it here. The whole industry was watching, but nobody was tweeting. Shori be industry, Sheri. Naira Marley ended up doing what I told him to do. Delete all those tweets and just end this stuff. So Naira deleted the tweets, leaving my own tweets there. At the end of the day, I regretted because if Naira had not deleted those tweets or had screenshot it before he deleted it, about 7 tweets. It giantly gone now. Anyway, that's it. Now, October 5th, 2022, ọjọ́ yẹn ni MOHBAD tó wà ní hospital tó lie down lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ blood pressure machine àti oxygen saturation machine, which is the video you wanted to play to me. You didn't need to play it to me. I know all that stuff. I watch this madness unfold, and this is why I'm writing a book. At the end of the day, when you fast forward to that day, and you one video Mohbad in the hospital room, Mohbad one recall February 2022. Shoti yeyinsi papariano. October 5th, 2022, ni wọ́n ṣe video yẹn. Mohbad wá sọ àwọn nǹkan nu video yẹn. Ìgbà tí mo dé bẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n fún mi ní bottle water pẹ̀lú nǹkan kan nú ẹ̀, wọ́n ní kí n mú. Mohbad was simply explaining the detox medication he got 8 months earlier. Nigerians now took that footage and said the NDLE poisoned him. Tonto and Yabo failed to tell Nigerians that the footage contains a narration of what happened to Mohbad in February in a rehab center after he turned himself in to get rehab. Mohbad escaped on that day with Wunmi, but they turned themselves in the next day. At any clue yet to Nigerians to pay attention. They did not pay attention to the beating in October, and they did not pay attention to the February video when he turned himself in. But Toto Nara in, if you heights overnight, kilo so. If anything happened to me, blame Naira Marley and Malian music. Can you pay Nigerians to focus on Nkoto solo join So at the end of the day, 8 months later, was February to October. But one Ludada Tombe, Lomo Yewashe recall conversation pẹ̀lú ẹnìkan tó film ẹ̀ saying wọ́n dẹ̀ gbé wa lọ sí ríà wọ́n fẹ́ mi ní nǹkan mú bottle water. Àwọn Nigerians were turning into something else thanks to Yabo and Tonto that they poisoned Mohbad that year, and it was not that year. It was not 2023. That footage was showing Kotimonso Papariano, IT guy. She understand the Kotimonso IT guy. We had a footage of someone in October 5th, 2022, recalling an incident that happened in February 2022. I
am with you on the cut and paste process.
Yeah.
And I think that what you've injected into it, without any sort of like interference, as you said, your line of thought actually makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
But I think this is the same thing that we got on an audio. On an audio that was actually sort of like plastered on a video that came out recently, and people didn't realize that we saw that right after Mohbad passing away.
Exactly.
So yeah, I'm with you.
So what Yabo did and Tonto, they moved that footage to 2023, saying that it was part of the bullying, and the NDLE now poisoned him. That is when the NDLE now called me. Motikuro Nigeria NDLE back with me. Do you know the first thing they asked me? Believe it or not, you can really frame up the NDLE. No back with Marua. Ni DSS ba gets involved. Ni Sanwo-Olu ba lo sórí social media. Tony, we are involving the DSS in the Mohbad case. Nigerians didn't understand why the DSS was going to be involved. I knew what was going on. Because on the 15th of September, the date wọ́n sin Mohbad, the day after, wọ́n sin Mohbad, ọjọ́ yẹn ni mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú police at NDLE, at DSS. I worked with them. These are not things you tell people. I worked with them from the 15th to the 30th of September. During that 2-week period, someone now came and told Nigerians that we're involving the DSS. Do you know what was about to happen? Tonto and Yabo averted a disaster. With the Sokini, Tonto and Yabo would have been lounging in jail now. DSS can report in your, or can release in your, like next week, next month. So DSS can release in your Lori social media campaign, free Yabo Joe. One say, 2 years in DSS, Mafi keep it. Because Chairman Marwa felt like he was defamed. Marwa seized drugs for like the past 5 years. And in what day, Ekuranya as Nollywood girls, it was a Marwa poison Mohbad. More sequence and timeline in Koto Shele. Ewa move video. Tí Mohbad ṣe October 2022, Egbesi October 2023, wants to pay NDLE poisoning. Police warning, we want to investigate the NDLE. Femi Bansakiri. When they investigate some, when they collect us, when they good luck with the Mohbad investigation. That's where they had to include me. Do you know why they included me? They needed my interview with Cool FM. Shetiribai. Because this is the reason why the media has to continue talking about stories. Because te ba sọ̀rọ̀ pa stories kò sí record kò ṣẹlẹ̀. Journalism is a rough draft of history. So the interview I did with Cool FM, and for me personally, interview any entity, I must have a copy of what I did, especially radio. Tolerate Cool FM on any topic. Man, he send me clip. But they keep clip me. He may have the post a page to me. So clip yellow vindicates NDLEA. The clip showed everybody that it was February 22nd that they were arrested and they were raided and they went to rehab, and everything I did with them in rehab, begging Marwa to, not prosecute them and let them go to rehab. So that vindicated the NDLEA right there. And the whole drink at the rehab was just what they got at rehab. So at the end of the day, that is what happened. What distorted information and misinformation is very good today. It's so good. It's a bad thing, but it's so good today on social media for the people who are the haters of the truth. So that's how they use the heavy audience. Both of those girls have 6 million people following them on Instagram. They use that audience to distort information. And that is it. So rehab, somebody in the comments said rehab without their consent. No, they had to go on rehab because Kemi Olunloyo begged for them to go on rehab. Okay? Adesoye, please shut the hell up. You have to understand what we have been talking about. If I did not beg for them, they would have prosecuted them. The general was prosecuted and he has a conviction on his record. The general the general was convicted of selling tramadol, 2,000 tablets. Comedian. Or plead guilty. When they're convicted, fill from the embassy. Have you ever been convicted of a crime? Yes. Details below. Drug trafficking. You are not traveling. Wake up! Wake up, people.
Papariano.
The NDLEA was vindicated. I was the one that gave them the rehab. There are two things in NDLEA. If they arrest you for drugs, it's either you are rehabbed or you are prosecuted. However, if you're a kingpin, they're not sending you to any fucking rehab. They're sending you straight to prison. You have to be lucky. I'm not there anymore. I don't do anything for anybody. Stop using drugs. It's one of my campaigns. So at the end of the day, IT guy, that's the answer to your question. They just distorted the stuff. Mr. Marwa was telling the DSS to arrest Yabo and Tonto, a minimum ba bebe. Mo se jack pẹ̀lú mi tó, a minimum tu ba bebe nkona yen. Because DSS is ready for now. She you read DSS in case MOHBAD and sing. What's the law now? Only nǹkan tán wá ṣe now. Ẹ máa ronú yín. Ẹ̀yin Nigeria, ẹ̀yin ọmọ Nigeria, ẹ máa ronú yín. Only nǹkan tán wá ṣe. Side yẹn ti tán. Yabo and Tonto would have been with the DSS now. Ẹ fẹ́ lọ disgrace Marwa. Ẹ fẹ́ lọ pé Marwa ní poisonous and to poison MOHBAD. Ẹ rò pé ń bá ordinary person ṣeré. A whole military general that was governor. And to law school America, to law school UK, to law school everywhere. You don't do that though. At the end of the day, that is it.
Excuse me, ma.
Go ahead.
NDLEA kissing. Rehab was it NDLEA that did the rehab or you, ma?
No, I mean, at NDLEA, like just shake but surely rehab, right? Rehab is just taking somebody to a hospital that removes drugs from people's systems. A rehabilitation for 90 days. I don't know the prices today. At that time, 2022, 90 days need tramadol, and tramadol is 5 million for 90 days. So that's why ordinary people don't have money for this stuff. I demand educate on Lori Spaces on Fridays on NDLEA Live, Lori Twitter. Now, what about other drugs in your system? Methamphetamine, crystal meth, cocaine, different prices for different drug rehab. But the average person coming into the rehabs today are usually people who are on tramadol and ice. And it's 90 days, it's 5 million, now only to the 10 million. So, nǹkan tó wá ṣẹlẹ̀ ni pé NDLEA wá dá nǹkan kan lẹ̀ tán pé ní NDLEA rehabilitation centers, which is totally free of charge. Now, tó bá lọ sí Gbobi, tó lọ sí, no, not Gbobi, tó bá lọ sí Yaba left, tó lọ gba rehab. Yaba left was, when I was there in 2022, Yaba left was 500,000. And I went there and I took a tour with the medical director. 500,000 Yaba left. But Tobalo si private one. Show me Omabisi Mobile Estate Road. What? Nibi Tobi Kubana to Lonko Estate si. Ni Mobile Estate Road. Rehab to Alegbe is under scrutiny and people are like very worried about. I'm not trying to mess OB's business, but building an estate near a rehab center is not really good for the community, say some people. But that rehab center there at the end of Mobile Estate Road, that one was charging 4 million for what Yaba Left was. Yaba Left is a mental hospital and mental health. Drug abuse is mental health. So Yaba Left is a government hospital, and that was 500K versus 4 million. So I have somebody I sent to Yaba Left, and he did very well. The person is in Canada now. Their life is back to normal, but the NDLE centers now are opened in every state and it's free. The only catch with the free NDLE services is people say, if I go to the NDLE, my records will be out there. No, your records are confidential, just like the private. The only catch is that provisions in at the toiletries. That is the thing. It's like prison. Basically, when I say prison, in prison, provisions at the our private rehab, but normal supply. So, kini catch mbe, our loved ones, she be mo ba won share advert yen. Ti mo ni our loved ones to ma send omo lo si NDA rehab center. Mu provisions won wa bonvita, nido, sugar. De mo she won wa ati koin ati gbogbo nkan to ma lo. To ma wa be for 3 months. Ko package ose mejo mewa ke ma wa ki won. And that is what I said to people. So the rehab was done by the NDA. It was facilitated by the NDLA and myself.
Excuse me, ma. That means NDLA has a record of MOHBAD. A record of submit RF1.
Koyemi, NDLA has what?
MOHBAD's record.
Which record are you talking about?
As a person in his lifetime.
Yeah, because they arrested.
Medical record.
No medical record. You know, she said.
The medical record, and so be arrest record.
No arrest. I'm not even talking about arrest now, because if you play that video, papariano.
Both of it, the NDLA has denied arresting MOHBAD and also giving him any white substance.
Yes.
They did not give NDLA kolofuni white substance. Rehab center lofuni white substance. Rehab center is covered under privacy laws. Rehab center mafuini medical records in cotton for any kokon. Like Timbawa on drugs. Okay, I'm not a drug user, a drug addict. I'm a drug expert. And when a man for drug addict, boom me low drugs me. Timbawa on drugs, tabomo miwa on drugs. I don't want them giving what
okay,
they
John, please, can we just hear MOHBAD? Let for the sake of others who haven't listened to
it. Others can watch it, fine.
Yeah, it's okay. Let me just play for MOHBAD, just 30 seconds. Please, let's just hear MOHBAD, and from MOHBAD's own statement and draw out some certain conclusions.
Èmi nìkan mo mú kò sẹ́ni lọ́sọ̀ bí kò mú rẹ̀ wọ́n nìkan wà láìkàlẹ̀ ọ̀pọ̀ ọlọ́run tó jẹ́ mi rí mi nípa rẹ̀ ó máa ń fọkàn sáyà lórí ilé ọ̀dùn ìgbà tí wọ́n dáwọ́ wọ́n wá ní pé àyèmí o bí mi báyìí ìgbà tí mo ṣe gbọ́gbọ́n náà èmi tó dáwọ́ mọ́ lórí tó dáwọ́ mọ́ lórí dé mi gbogbo gbọ́ olóògbàjà mo sẹ́wù sínú fídíò rẹ̀ àwọn tí ó lọ ní tíì Bàbá tí wọ́n sílẹ̀, bàbá ní kí èmi máa bọ̀ lé. Ibi tí mo máa bọ̀ lé o. Ẹni kan yẹn ṣì wà bẹ́ẹ̀ tó wọ́n á treat ìgbé tí ló lè sí ìlú. Bàtà mi bọ̀dí lẹ́nu iṣẹ́ ọkàn sọ pé MOHBAD fún lè sí ìlú. Oyè ọba ìlú ní kìlọ̀ lọ́wọ́ mi bá gbé. So kí ni ìwọ́n wáyé fún mi kí ni MOHBAD ló lè sí ìlú ló lè sí ìjọba ẹ̀yìn.
Okay, so the question to her ni àwọn wo ló ní right láti arrest èèyàn láti máa fún nǹkan kan mú. To any
Listen, NDLA ló ní right láti arrest MOHBAD àti gbogbo àwọn tó ń lo drugs nínú ilé yẹn. Okay, ìgbà tó ń arrest wọn MOHBAD escape. Ìgbà tó di next day, wọ́n ní kó turn ara ẹ̀ in, ó dẹ̀ turn ara ẹ̀ in. Àwọn tó ní right láti arrest yẹn. Àwọn tó ní right láti fún wọn ní nǹkan mu làwọn Kemi Olunloyo tán bẹ̀bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú NDLA chairman kọ́ máa kó wọn lọ sí court láti prosecute.
Nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ mọ̀ ní pé ta ló fún nìkan mu ṣé àwọn NDLA náà ni àbí àwọn rehab center àbí tó ń lò fún ààrẹ.
Alẹ́ kí n gbọ́ràn ní lórí kínní rehab center ló fún ní nǹkan mu ńgbà tí Kemi Olunloyo ní pé kí wọ́n kó wọn lọ sí rehab instead of prosecution in court to must stop music career wọn. They will never be able to tour outside the country or go any country, period. But when they rehab center...
Sorry, àwọn olóko wọn lọ sí rehab.
Ma interrupt me. Emma interrupt me. Mo ń sọ̀rọ̀. Emma jẹ́ kí lose friend. I don't remember things easily anymore. I'm now 61 years old almost. Listen.
All right.
When we now took them and gave them the option to do rehab, which is not something that's done. Mariwa was not happy. Now, go prosecute or call lock it will be
but
chaos.
He must have found something suspicious on them before taking them to court.
Yes, kilograms and kilograms of drugs was seized from the car, was seized from the house. I have everything, money bobo records now. They would have been really messed up. Naira Marley's label would have crashed. Everything would have tweets after that. But they organized rehab for rehab tomalo. What they phone treatment, all of them. MOHBAD Nicolo Tisalo, Adeniko Tonare, or the Tonare, but what they lost rehab. Shentorizino film tier. In Cotonou system enough when now. Drug to low, yato si drug to zino low. So one so story if any con, but on Lue 8 months later. Nigerians was a story here, then you come funin komu. On that munkoye, or else he will not be detoxed. That was the agreement. And he was detoxed. Was he not detoxed? After he detoxed, did he not leave Naira Marley's label and started his own label until all this nonsense happened? And he went there simply to go and pick up the rest of his stuff and they beat him up. Do you see the sequence of events? That's why they call me investigative journalist. Olo for mini pharmacy degree, legbe, 36 years. 36 years. Am I respect Isheti Motishe? Am I respecting you? My son said to me yesterday, Mommy, what if you were not a pharmacist? How would you be able to even decipher all these things? I've been clear about this all the time with you people. You cannot go to a detoxification area in drugs and think everybody's going to get the same drugs. And he filmed it. He was talking out of frustration. Okay? Can you please block somebody called Posh Kem Kem? Just block that person. Hey, Joe. Hey, remove any. I'm reading your comments, Posh Kem Kem. We're going to remove you. This is nonsense. Are you people stupid? People say, but you say that drug abuse low lori Daddy Freeze. Kilo shele Daddy Freeze. September Daddy Freeze. Why to see March ending 2025? Is that the same thing we're looking at now? Did we know things then that we didn't know then? That we didn't know now? I told you MOHBAD died on the 11th, September 11, 9/11, and Sofumikpe 12. Yaba bo sorry TikTok, abi Instagram, don't kick be. Ni pa omo wa je, ni se kini kan ton bu Naira Marley. And she knew all along. Hypocrite of the greatest order. She knew all along. When MOHBAD got to London, he was crying and begging Polo to file asylum. Polo no only file asylum for artists. Wọ́n ní fún Polo ní visa mọ́. Lie. Polo is a promoter. Iṣẹ́ Polo ní kó máa kó artists wá láti Africa kó máa play outside the country. Tọ́n bá fún wọn visa, Polo máa appeal. In the end, wọ́n á fún artists ní visa because Polo ti assure embassy pé òun máa kó wọn padà wálé. But don't bet Polo tó ń sunkún London pé òun fẹ́ padà sí Nigeria. There was something he was scared of. Somebody was trying to kill him. Polo, I can't do that though. I can't. You can't file asylum. Do you know how many people have run away? The Olympic team. The Special Olympic team for Ghana, they went to do Special Olympics. Lori wheelchair la wọ́n bọ̀bọ́n yẹn wà. Márààrún wọn rí wọn dè ní. They vanished into Europe. Tó bá dẹ̀ máa surface, wọ́n ti file asylum against country wọn. They don't want that. That's why when you're filing asylum, you don't open your mouth. You just go to the country you are going and file right there. At the end of the day, that's what happened with MOHBAD. Polo deni mi ò lè file asylum wọn ní fún mi visa fáwọn artist mi mọ́ o. Think about the bigger picture. He was scared of something. And then at the end of the day, he came back to Nigeria. But ó dé Nigeria tán, ìjà bẹ̀rẹ̀ lórí visa tọmọ, paternity ọmọ. Kí ló gbé MOHBAD lọ sí river pẹ̀lú Liam? Kí ló gbé lọ sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ river yẹn pẹ̀lú Liam? Tí Bella Shmurda lọ save Liam ni. Kí ló máa gbéyàn mentally láti lọ drown ọmọ ẹ̀ tó bá jẹ́ ọmọ ẹ̀ ní? Ọ̀rọ̀ paternity ti wà lórí case èmi ni mo dárò paternity sílẹ̀. Ẹ lọ ṣe DNA test kẹ́mẹ́ tó lọ mọ́. Tẹ́ bá ṣe DNA test tán gbogbo yín lórí gbogbo àwọn news media Arise gbogbo yín, all the news media were never asking.
And sorry, secondly, only very dark man ló dárò paternity yẹn sílẹ̀ mo máa ní pé
èmi ni mo dálẹ̀ very dark.
Ẹ bá fòyìnbó sọ fún wọn.
Very Dark Man did not start the paternity stuff. It was me, and Very Dark Man took it off my platform. There's something called elevating platforms. If you have 1 million followers and you hear Kemi Olunloyo say something, you can.
So guys, listen to the DNA narrative. Okay, the DNA narrative is what she's about to substantiate.
I tweeted about MOHBAD's son's DNA. 3 days later, VDM took that tweet and changed it to his own speech. It's called elevation narratives in social media. We are the ones that powered social media. We are the pioneers of social media. If somebody has more followers than you, if somebody's carrying 1.5 million followers and you are carrying 500,000 followers and they hear you say something, many people are glued to my page and they use my information for content. I don't compete with anybody. I'm not VDM. VDM could be an activist. It could be anything he wants. I am an investigative journalist, among other things. VDM now took the information 3 days later and put it out there. So people will think he's the one that started it. VDM has only mentioned my name one time. And he said, if you are not satisfied with what Kemi Olunloyo is saying, then sue her. That's what he was saying to Karimo in the beginning. Because Karimo was saying that Kemi Olunloyo was saying, Karimo called my house. He called my phone number that they leaked in those days. And he called it and she cursed me out and all that. I recorded her. Me, continue time lati post it. Ma posted at the right time. What she denied me, call me. Okay, and she refused to do an interview with me either. Okay, Karimo knows what happened. He's already said in her numerous videos. A fight on the top of the steps. The railing broke. A piece of the railing went into MOHBAD's neck. His carotid artery busted. It's a soft case.
Paparino, she's saying the truth. I'm telling you the truth. Enu Kemi Olunloyo ni mo ti kọ́kọ́ gbọ́ nípa nipa everything.
No, even me myself, because so I was very early in the case then. I heard it from her first.
Very dark man saw
exactly.
Very dark man just jump into it.
He popularized it.
Paternity.
Exactly.
Sister Kemi kọ́kọ́ sọ ni, òun ló kọ́kọ́ sọ, Sister Kemi ló kọ́kọ́ sọ. So very dark man, ta ló mọ̀ kò lọ ẹ lọ́yọ̀. Ó kàn jump into the story.
Teba study Very Dark Man. Teba study Very Dark Man àtàwọn videos ẹ̀. No sì pé gbogbo nǹkan tó máa ń sọ̀rọ̀ nípa èmi ti sọ days before. Ó kàn máa ń popularize ẹ̀, ó dẹ̀ máa elevate ẹ̀. Kò sí nǹkan tó wrong in that. There's nothing wrong with that. But nǹkan tó yẹ kẹ́ máa béèrè ni why did I come up with it? Nǹkan tó yẹ kí Nigerians máa béèrè ni pé why did Kemi Olunloyo started? Because that is the
no I don't feel pay for him to have started it the first is because he knew too much. So
if he was Tiwa Savage or Davido that Koko Beret, they would give it another narrative. There is a reason that Nigerians should be asking, let me say something. Matilda DW64, my name is Olunloyo, not Olunloyo. That's the Igbo spelling. Igbos cannot spell my name right. Olunloyo.
Please, can I quickly ask a question?
Olunloyo is
please.
Wrong. Yeah.
Okay, before you ask your question,
let her ask.
A very important question. They want somebody. Yeah, no problem. I'm coordinating here. Someone want me to ask Dr. Olunloyo this question that they want you to address the industrial gods. Wumi said industrial gods don't want her to speak. Speak about what? Speak about the nurse killing her husband. If nurse truly kill her husband, how is the industrial god? Doesn't want.
Okay, that would be my second. I will answer that second. Let me finish this one with the DNA. The DNA story started because as an investigative journalist, that was the core of the case. What happened? I drew a timeline on what happened when they left the concert and how the whole thing unfolded with Liam involved. Liam was with them at the concert. On a normal basis, babies are not taken to concerts. You don't see Davido take any of his children to concerts at baby age Davido has children that he doesn't want people to see their faces anyway. Let's use another example. Cardi B is someone I know personally. Cardi B does not take any of her babies to her concerts at all. Many stars in America and Canada will not take their babies to their concert. Okay, Nigerian artists, the same thing. They don't take their babies to their concert. But for some reason, the baby was at the concert. A concert that could have been very dangerous for the baby to be at because they were wondering, they were protecting MOHBAD because that was his first official concert over there. Now, it was when I did my 3-hour interview with Prime Boy that I got more information. People don't know that I interviewed Prime Boy on TikTok Live for 3 hours. I have it. You can go to my Facebook page on the video section. That interview now added more to what I felt, because Prime Boy's bag was inside that car and he was left. MOHBAD they punched moto. MOHBAD punched the glass, punched the body of the motor. He had an injury in his hands. The injury in MOHBAD's hand was in his fist. I hope everybody knows their body parts. The fist is your hand. You know, your hand grabbed into itself. Knuckles. Okay, he punched something with it, which is glass and the body of the car. The photograph that Owon had showed the media at the press conference looks like a fist injury. And we knew it was a fist, but Wunmi went on TVC and held up her elbows. It was just a little thing here. Fist, what he has was elbows. We saw pictures of Wunmi. That's another light she had. But anyway, now, what's happened with the bag? Okay, after the thing, they just drove off. Prime Boy had no ride, and he was stranded. That's when Cubana Chief Priest came to Prime Boy and said, it's okay, it is well, you know. It was really well. Because if not for Cubana Chief Priest, Tolo miss riding, he did not get to the house with them. So Cubana Chief Priest was an angel in disguise in giving Prime Boy the major alibi. Prime Boy has told me his own section of the story, and so has the other 4 in the house who spoke to me anonymously. There's a driver that drove them home now. Do you know why the driver didn't show up twice at the inquest? He was summoned to the inquest. He did not show up both times. But he's spoken to me and others. And at the end of the day, Kenon Jankpa, Shetu Abajoko saying Uber, buying motor to Jack by Loyoko. Shanton drive Mongodon Shelley. They are listening and they're storing it into their brain. That's why God created the frontal lobe. Iwaju brain when the frontal lobe. Olomajeka recording con play spray. Taba ti record it and press play taba fe record le. Ti ba jade nsin, ti mo ri obìnrin kan tó kiri mango àti watermelon níwájú ilé mi. Ti mo ra mango, ti mo ra watermelon, ti mo padà sínú ilé mi. Ṣé mi ò lè fojú inú rí? I can recollect her. I can recollect what I saw, the face I saw. That's the frontal lobe. So the driver had recorded everything he heard them talking about, and he can press play to play it and tell you. So unfortunately, some people don't know how the body works. So now, that being said, on Jankpa, 2 things, a Canadian visa and alobi Liam, paternity Liam. Olola ti ṣe DNA test fún Liam. Oyari, because it bere janiye, oba drag ija wonule. The fight now went on top of the stage. The fight got toxic. You want to buy more Zomo? You will know that Zomo and all of them, people, Nigerians, our leaders have suffered us enough. Who is that person there? Firefox, Washiri, cerebellum versus cerebrum. Those are parts of the brain. Go and learn the human body. You are carrying expensive phones. Everybody's carrying an expensive phone. If you sell your phone today, if you jump for 3 months, use it. Google. See what these parts of the brains do. So at the end of the day, when they now got to the house and the fight got toxic, Wunmi and MOHBAD have a history of toxic fight. These are what the snitches in the house told me. Go back to the cemetery. When Wunmi arrived with the scarf on her head, go back to the cemetery and go and look at Wunmi's forehead. It has 4 bumps, swollen bumps. MOHBAD no dada, they struggle. MOHBAD struggles. MOHBAD was stabbed in the neck and his carotid artery was busted. And when the carotid artery busts, then your neck is deflated like a balloon that they threw pin inside. And that's why Olorun shake her fun. Olorun can shake her fun, but Olorun expose one. Because ngba ton exhume MOHBAD, ibi ori coffin yẹn ni livor mortis ti wá. There's 2 ways of decomposition, rigor mortis and livor mortis. R-I-G-O-R and L-I-V-O-R. I'm a medical professional. Zenyomo Nigeria.
4 signs.
Exactly. Livor mortis.
Algo mortis, livor mortis, algo mortis, rigor.
So those are the end ones before you turn completely into water. But look at the head of the coffin. When they took Mohbad out, you could see blood and water on that side where they stabbed him in the carotid arteries. That's what God used to punish them. Why was blood coming out of that section? That is it. I want forensics experts in Iran. One protect me. Come on, man, boy. Come on. That the second question here. What's the second question that you said? Somebody asked a question after there was a question, papariano. There was a question you asked now. What's that question?
Industrial goods. One in North low power common.
Industrial goods. Let me tell you what it is. If you remember, papariano, if you remember the tweet that I tweeted and I said people that must be excluded from MOHBAD's case, I tweeted that in 2024, everybody that should be excluded in MOHBAD's case, Naira Marley, Sam Larry, Ayobami. Mo ṣe list wọn. Nurse nìkan, okay. Lókùnbẹ̀ àti one Ayobami. Okay. Ṣé ìyẹn náà pè ní spending?
Yes.
Okay. Àwọn tó wà ní list yẹn. So my tweet was vindicated. But however, this is what I told Nigerians. I said they have a plan. Okay, it's like Nigerians don't believe in Dr. Kemi. I said they have a plan. They're going to send Wunmi on a media tour. She's going to visit almost every TV and radio stations. A lot of the radio stations have declined to see her until the case is to the end. However, some TV stations will interview her. And when they interview her, she'll go there and lie and be the victim. 2 weeks after I said that, they saw the media. Hey, Mama vindicates me. What is sue me? Mama vindicates me. I consent the what's account me. Kenny, Dr. Kemi, you are the best. But what concern me 100K lano? Only everything you say come to pass. 2 weeks later, Wunmi was on a media tour and it started with the lowest of the food chain. You know what I mean by the lowest of the food chain? Today, ordinary NTA journalist kid that became a big one when he was big. One low podcast today first. Lẹ́yìn today, mo tó ń bọ̀ next TVC bá dé. Wọ́n ya photo, wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀. Wunmi show wọn ní elbow pẹ̀lú little injury. He died 20 minutes in the hospital. Lẹ́yìn today, they went to BBC. Pidgin, Yoruba. Lẹ́yìn BBC, they went to Arise. Bigger. Nigerians were hailing me on Facebook. Vindicated me. Hey, Joema vindicates me. Just send money and say thank you. I need the money. Me only recoup 10K to mo $9. At the end of the day, lẹ́yìn tán ṣe gbogbo interview tán mo wá post mo ní ẹ máa wòran àwọn stations kan ò gbà Wunmi wọn fẹ́ bà reputations wọn jẹ́ ẹ̀yin tẹ́ bá máa rántí yẹn you remember I was on Yomi Fabiyi's live right here on TikTok. I said channels ò fẹ́ bà reputation wọn jẹ́ na best station in Africa ọmọ agbára nù until the case comes to the end. When I went to Al Jazeera kí la Al Jazeera sọ fún mi? Al Jazeera ni Dr. Kemi the only way ẹ jẹ́ bá ń post account number mi ẹnì kan fẹ́ fún mi 100K o. 025 if I can you TikTok block 025-418-4770. Okay, at the end of the day, so basically I now told people about the radio stations are not going to accept Wunmi. I was vindicated. How many radio stations interviewed Wunmi? None of them wanted her. And AIT stopped her. They didn't want her interview because they want to do what Al Jazeera wants. Al Jazeera said they sent a statement to the police.